This is the final McLaren that's going to be built on the 720S platform, and not the same final McLaren we thought the 765 LT was going to be, but this is the actual last McLaren built on the 720S platform, which is a sad day because the McLaren 720S has essentially revolutionized the whole supercar game and made it what it is today, because when it came out back in 2018, it just redefined what supercar performance had to be. And you've seen Ferrari and Lamborghini play catch up in the years since. And now we're seeing McLaren give the 720S the send off it deserves with the new 788HS. Now, at first glance, the 788HS looks a bit like a 765 LT with a fixed wing on the back instead of a flat one that goes up and down with the hydraulics. Now, that big rear wing does still move and actually generates a 10% increase in downforce over McLaren 750S, which came out after the 765 LT. It's all a bit confusing. The cars are very similar. There is a 788HS Spider on the screen right now. We will look at that later in the video, but we're going to go through all the pictures that I could put together of the Coupe first, because I think it's important to show the Coupe, as this is like a very focused car. So we'll go through the Coupe. Here we go right now, and we'll get to the Spider later in the video. I want to mention the Spider quickly because McLaren did a great job with the specs of these cars. I mean, look at this launch spec. This is as good as it could get for a McLaren Coupe, I think, right here. Black with the orange accents, that 788HS on the hood. Look at these exhaust tips. They're like perforated looking almost. It just looks incredible. It almost matches the mesh around the exhaust tips. Really cool design. Never seen McLaren really do that before. McLaren can do some really special things when they put their mind to it, and this is a perfect example. Here's the side profile of the car. You can see that wing, get an idea of the shape and the depth of it a little better. New wheels as well. Very 765 up front to me. The back of the car gets a little more interesting with that new wing and the new aero designs, but there are a lot of small aero adjustments to this car that you wouldn't get on, a 765 or a 750S that make this car, differentiate itself. The power's not that different, as you could probably figure out from the name. 788HS, it's I think 778 American horsepower, so not a huge jump in power by any means. Look at these pedals, even the attention to detail, it says 788HS on the pedal. That's really nice. I'm sure the 765 LT says that as well, but it's just a nice attention to detail you get with a special MSO project car like this. That new rear diffuser is big. That looks even bigger than the 765 LT1 to me. So that's special. And there's some really intricate cutouts as we zoom in on the diffuser here. I believe it's the next cut that you can see just the level of attention and detail McLaren put into the air on this car. Okay, so here's the S-duct. This is actually at the front of the car. S-duct, first time on a McLaren. This is something you might have seen before on like a Ferrari 488 Pista. Really glues the front of the car down to the ground even more. I'll point out those rear diffuser slots when we get to them. It's really impressive. Here they are. So look at those little cutouts. I mean, that's just an insane level of aero. There's already a huge diffuser, but then you've got cutouts within the diffuser going sideways. Just amazing. McLaren knows how to get performance out of a car, so this is a great example. The seats, the Senna seats that have, they came out in the McLaren Senna, obviously, and they've made their way into the 765 and 750S since then, and 600 LT as well. And once you've been in those seats on the road, they actually really are more compliant than they look. They're much more comfortable than, some other bucket seats that look way more comfortable. And just look at how good that looks, that 788HS stitched in orange into the headrest. Just such a great attention to detail once again. It's nice when McLaren lets you do bespoke things with the cars, because if you just leave them, all black on black stitching, they kind of, maybe get a little boring. But when you get nice orange accents like that, like we can see here, it is very nice. The dashboard's very 750S. I mean, there's not too much different about it other than some little, badging here and there. But that's a good thing. I mean, it all works very well. I did prefer the way the 765 LT and 720S had that gauge cluster that came out, and you could, change what setting it was in. I preferred that personally. I thought it made the interior feel a little more special. But this new system does work better. I have been hands-on with it, and it's much easier to use, especially on the go. So can't really complain about it in that regard. And honestly, having it work is better than, how it looks. So you can see that 788HS very subtly embossed into the Alcantara dashboard there. That's really cool as well. Just so many little details on this car is what make it what it is, because performance-wise, it's not that different than a 765 LT or a 750S. I imagine it's probably not any faster in a straight line due to the extra aero, which will help with your turns, but will actually add a little drag in a straight line. So it's not necessarily to go faster, but it's to have more fun and more engagement when you're driving, which the shape of this car just throws off, engagement and excitement. You can see the roof scoop on the top of the car there as well for increased engine cooling. I mean, this car is for a serious McLaren enthusiast. If you don't know what a HS is, it stands for High Sport. Only two have ever been made before, and it's the only way you get attention to detail, like these little new fender outlets they added here underneath that wing. Since they don't have a flat wing there anymore, they could add those little cutouts for even more aero and cooling. But yeah, the high sports started off as just 25 MSO commissioned cars on the MP4 12C platform, and then they also made a 688HS further down based on the 650S, kind of a send off to that before the 720 came out and after the 675LT came out. So same thing like this. I would imagine this will be our last purely twin turbo V8 McLaren that doesn't have some type of hybridization, or maybe a whole different powertrain in general. Maybe there'll be a different engine. We're not too sure at this time. I don't think we'll never see this twin turbo V8 again because it's McLaren's bread and butter, and I think at the very least it'll be the base of a hybrid platform. But this is the last like pure 720S based platform car. Look at that McLaren badge, super thin, like right under the lacquer too on the carbon fiber hood. Probably weighs, a micrometer, something like that, microgram, some ridiculous number that doesn't even sound real. That 788HS logo painted on the roof scoop, and it's also painted on the front hood of the car, looks so good. Justified the price tag of this car, which they're being a little secretive about, but I've heard it's close to $700,000 base price US dollars. There's that hood with that 788HS. And I'd imagine from there, with options on bespoke cars like this, they're going to be pushing close to $1 million probably, but probably worth it for rare cars like this. Only 100 coupes and 100 spiders are going to be built, more than any other HS they've built before, but also companies are making way more cars now than they used to, so 100 of coupes and 100 of spiders, still very limited. I mean, there were 765 coupes and spiders of the 765LT, so completely way more rare than those. I'm not sure that necessarily performance-wise you would feel a significant difference driving this car versus 765LT. I do think this probably feels a lot like a 765LT, probably more so than it does a 750S. I don't know money-wise. I mean, there's not a huge price difference. A 765 you could probably buy for a little cheaper than this. Maybe not for a spider. I mean, spiders have gone through the roof recently. They're close to $1 million already. So bang for buck wise, I'd say, if you can get one of these, I would get one because you're probably not going to lose any money. And now here's the spider picture. So because the spec on this was excellent as well. Yeah, you probably won't lose too much money on these at all. And 765s, I'd imagine, are going to level off at some point. I mean, they've gone up a lot recently. So they're both good purchases. I just thought the spec on this car was so good for a spider because we already had the black coupe with the orange accents, classic McLaren spec, and they did something a little different with this one, and I really like it. And the white center seats, they might be that McLaren Dove Gray color. It's hard to tell in these renders. I do have a few real pictures of the spider towards the end of these spider pictures, but look at that. Like, that just looks so good. I don't love the bronze lettering necessarily, but I think they nailed it using like these white seats in the convertible to really show off the interior and make it pop. I think you can't go wrong there. Typically on McLarens, I always go for a spider because they don't really have a big weight penalty because the whole tub is carbon fiber. So the spider is usually the move in the McLaren, and I'll talk about why maybe that's still the case on this one and what model maybe I think you're better off with the coupe on in a couple seconds here. But let's just keep enjoying the details of the spider. You can see the gold anodized around the air conditioning vent. That's just such an attention to detail once again, right over that 788HS badge. The perforated exhaust, this time finishing like that gold plating that McLaren will do on exhaust for you. Looks really cool. You can actually kind of see the perforations a little more because of it. So the spider spec also did a great job of showing off this car in a more classy, subtle spec versus the black and orange, I would say. You can even see the gold details on the wheels and the brake calipers and the center lock wheel as well. Just really cool. Here's those white seats once again in the side view of the spider interior. I mean, the spider would not be bad on this car at all. You could enjoy the sound of this engine, which I'm sure is going to pop and snap a little more than, say, a 750S does, which already does it a good bit, but this will be next level. This is the actual car now, not a rendering. It looks really good, especially next to the coupe. It was like, dark and light next to each other. Really, really good contrast in the cars they presented. Shout out to McLaren for doing a great job on the specs, because I feel like a lot of manufacturers have been launching cars in some crazy specs lately, and McLaren really nailed both of these, I think. I mean, even this angle of the spider is impressive looking. That gold painted over the deck louver where the convertible mechanism is just looks great too. Fantastic job on the specs here. I just love these seats. These seats, they nailed. You don't really see Senna seats in colors other than black very often, and if you do, they're usually on heavily MSO'd cars, so it's nice to see them go with a different color right from the get-go on the launch here to give people ideas. I like that they did that a lot. Another angle of the spider here, looking from the coupe, actually. This is a cool shot. So, hope you guys appreciate me getting this video out. I knew this car was coming out in the middle of the night, so I stayed up to get the first pictures of it and get the video put together for you guys, so please like and subscribe for them if you haven't already. The W1 is the one coupe McLaren makes I think I would have to go for over the spider because you have the iconic gull wing doors that this car does come with. I think on this MSOHS, I probably would go for the Spider still. And let's talk about the competition really quick while the Ferrari's on screen. Because off the top of your head, you would think this car might compete with a Ferrari 296 Speciale, which is what's on the screen right now. But I'd argue that it's actually going to compete more with the upcoming Ferrari 296 Challenge Stradale, not a lot of people know about yet, which is going to be a 296 without the hybrid system, basically, with the fixed wing like the 788HS has. And I think that's probably more what it competes with. We haven't seen a Temerario SV yet, or like a Performante, or a Revuelto SV, so you can't really compete with those yet. Maybe though, I mean, price-wise, they're probably going to be pretty similar, but performance-wise, probably more with the Ferrari around there. But I think this McLaren is going to be way more engaging and better to drive if you're a real driving enthusiast than either of those cars. So this car is just so impressive. I mean, this front angle of the car, there's nothing not to like about it. You can see the wing poking out over the back even. You get the new wheels, the S-duct up front. I mean, they just nailed so many things on this car. Great job to McLaren. Very excited to see what they do towards the end of this year. Oh, look at this. This is a great angle. You can look right down the S-duct into the front of the car. You do lose a little front trunk space, which is a shame because the McLaren front trunk is pretty much the biggest in the segment, but it's still pretty big even with losing a little space, so it's still a usable car, I would say. Just so much more aero and everything on this car. Please, please, please like and subscribe for me. It really helps me out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the new McLaren 788HS. We've got Goodwood Festival Speed this weekend, so we'll probably get a lot of new car releases. I'll try to get out videos on anything I find interesting for you guys, and I really hope you enjoy. Please subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.